Kyle McWilliams meets Superman T, an unlikely friendship born of chaos and Final Fantasy. Before Kyle McWilliams ever graced the prison showers with his confusing yet oddly authoritative presence, there was TT was a legend in his own right, walking into jail in 2019, strung out, frail, and on the brink of collapse. T was a mere 121-pound shadow of himself. But time passed, and something terrifyingly magnificent happened. 6 to 8 months later, the transformation was undeniable. At 220 pounds of sheer sculpted muscle, T had earned his Superman nickname, not just for his imposing physique, but because he had literally rebuilt himself from the ground up, turning his worst days into absolute domination. He was known for his relentless workouts, his unshakable presence, and the fact that if you were stupid enough to challenge him, you were likely to end up reconsidering all of your life choices very quickly. And then there was Corey. Corey, the ultra-ugly and redhead stepchild, the self-proclaimed king of the cell block, a man who talked big but wasn't exactly invincible. Corey believed himself to be the toughest guy in the tank, claiming he had seen it all, handled the worst of the worst, and had nothing left to fear. That belief lasted exactly until Kyle McWilliams arrived. Enter Kyle McWilliams, the walking mystery of prison chaos. The showers, the punching of walls, the soap hitting the floor. Kyle McWilliams hitting the floor on purpose. The cell block watched in sheer terror as Kyle McWilliams rolled around like he was conducting a personal water experiment, repeatedly letting himself slip dramatically as if it were some form of religious ritual. The entire population lived in fear, not just because Kyle McWilliams was physically intimidating, but because his behavior didn't make sense. You could prepare yourself for a fighter. You could prepare yourself for a loudmouth. But how the hell were you supposed to prepare yourself for a man who deliberately slipped in prison showers for fun? It wasn't normal. It wasn't logical. And it scared everybody. Then, fresh out of his shower routine, barely clutching onto his towel, Kyle McWilliams stormed toward Corey. Without hesitation, he started punching Corey in the arms, grinning like some kind of demented gym instructor. "You want some? Do you want some?" Corey's confidence collapsed immediately. "Hell no!" Steps in. The moment of fate. Corey turned to T, rattled beyond belief. "I hate that guy. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him." T, amused but intrigued, glanced at Corey. "You want me to roll him out?" Corey grabbed onto this hope like a drowning man reaching for a lifeboat. "You'd do that?" T, the dominant force of the cell block, stood up, ready to confront Kyle McWilliams, the man who had turned the prison showers into his personal playground of confusion. T walked up to Kyle McWilliams, prepared for a standoff, possibly a fight, maybe some insane rant that no one could predict. Yo! Kyle McWilliams turned slowly, locking eyes with T, the muscle-bound Superman of the prison. The cell block went silent. Everyone expected a battle for supremacy, a moment that would define who truly ruled the block. Then, Do you like the game Final Fantasy IX? Silence. Absolute. Silence. T blinked, trying to comprehend what had just happened. What the heck? Dude, that's my favorite game! Instantly, everything changed. All thoughts of dominance vanished. All threats of rolling Kyle McWilliams out of the cell block disintegrated. It was now Final Fantasy VIII time. The inmates watched in disbelief as the two quizzed each other like nerds, reunited after years apart. Oh, first boss? Ifrit. Second boss? Shiva. The exchange accelerated, evolving into a full-blown gaming debate. Two intimidating men, fully immersed in a bizarre, passionate discussion about a PlayStation classic while surrounded by confused murderers and felons. Corey looked completely betrayed. I don't understand what just happened. Meanwhile, Kyle McWilliams and T were now inseparable, bonded by Final Fantasy, absolute randomness, and sheer disregard for any expectations placed upon them. And just like that, a legendary friendship was born.